On today's episode of Kult America, we are going to demonstrate that there are indeed guns in American homes. Why do you need this in the house?
It's a self-defense type weapons. No matter how big they are or how small you are, if they are a threat to you and your safety, your family's safety, that is what makes everything equal.
Okay, so if someone's breaking into the house, right, and you draw your gun,
well, most likely
you have your finger off the trigger until you decide
until I've identified a threat. If I just suspect that somebody might be in the house, weapon stays secure.
How do you open this to make sure there's nothing inside?
Safe direction, hand off the trigger. You can cycle a slide, and it's the same thing. It has a locking lever. You lock the slide up, make sure that it's empty visually, and it's a good idea to touch it with your finger. Look away and do the exact same thing again. And I can see now that that's empty. There's nothing in the chamber. The magazine is out.
Okay, so you also have some rifles.
Yeah, this is what they carried around in World War II. This is an M1. It's a 30-06, which is a fairly large bullet. Obviously a very heavy weapon.
It's very heavy. So could this gun put down an elephant?
Not this one, no.
Now, are these all the guns that you have?
Those are all the guns I have here. This is a 22 caliber.
How deadly is that?
It can be very deadly. Any firearm can be deadly. Again, you have to be careful with any of these weapons.
So a few summers ago, I was hanging out right here in my parents' house, watching a movie, and my wife was in a little guest house when suddenly we heard gunfire, and we called the cops. They came out. They basically said, "Look, don't worry, you're probably exaggerating." We knew what we heard and we were paranoid. I didn't sleep much that night. I was terrified. Fortunately, he didn't come back, but that's actually not the end of the story. Now, the following day, I called my little brother Eric, who told me that I was a complete pussy, and basically, like the cop said, someone was just shooting and it's nothing to worry about. Anyways, I tried to take his word for things because he had a lot more experience with guns than I did, and I thought, maybe I was exaggerating on some level, and I invited him over. We were swimming in the pool. Not only did we hear gunfire, but we saw fire coming from a gun right on the other side of this fence. The person shooting it made his point, and we were definitely being threatened. We called the police again. The police arrived and gave us a very similar reaction. Guy, chill out, people shoot, no big deal. On the third night, we were sitting again in this room here, and we heard some maniacs shoot. And at that point, I had absolutely had enough. I ran to the front door, opened it, and started shouting out the door, "Who's there? Who's shooting?" At the same time, my mother called the police, and I demanded that they search the woods. They came back, and at that time, I was basically pissed off. And I told them, "You gotta find this guy, go talk to the neighbors." He did. He went to the neighbor here, and that neighbor confirmed that indeed someone had been shooting, and they were also quite nervous about the situation. The police searched and searched and searched. Eventually, they found the person, and they came back here and apologized to me for having not taken action sooner. They said that the culprit was wearing his underwear and was completely drunk. They said that the culprit had more guns than the police. They also said that they could not arrest him because he had permission to have those guns. And as disturbing as this was, as scared as I was, they told me something that made me worry more. He is armed and he is dangerous, but sleep well because there's nothing you can do about it. If I ever moved back here, you fucking better believe I would be foolish not to have a means to protect myself. But maybe I'm wrong. Write your opinion in the comments section below and tell me, if you lived in America, would you buy a gun or would you just wait for the maniac to come knocking on your door? Thank you so much for watching Kult America. I'll see you next time.